Please go.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Please.
Thank you.
Rahul,
Yes, sir.
can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yes. So my name is Rahul J. Patil. I hail from Belgaum district of Karnataka. I've done my graduation in mechanical engineering, and after that I've been pursuing for civil services. And last year I also worked in one of the institutions as a mentor. And right now I'm giving full time for UPSC civil services.
You said you come from Belgaum
Yes, sir.
district of... Are you sure? Is it Belgaum or it is Belgavi?
Belagavi, sir. Sorry.
Then why Belgaum?
Belgaum was the earlier name of Belagavi.
So you are going back into history.
Sorry, sir.
What is the original name of Karnataka? You have gone back to history. Karnataka is a new name. What was the earlier name?
So before Karnataka, it was called Mysore State.
Mysore
And in 1973, it was changed to Karnataka, sir.
Why?
Because Mysore was a kingdom, and it had its range around in the middle of from 12th to 18th century, and it did not cover the whole of Karnataka as it is today, and that's why the Mysore state did not represent the whole of Karnataka, and that's the name. The name was changed to Karnataka.
When we are on the page of history,
Yes, sir.
what is the difference between partition and bifurcation in context of history?
Can I take a moment, sir?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'll help you. In 1947, what happened?
India got partitioned into Pakistan and India.
And in 1978 or earlier,
Yes.
many states got bifurcation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is the difference.
Okay, sir.
Okay. You are trying for the civil services.
Yes.
You have cleared your prelims, you have cleared your mains. You are just a few seconds away from achieving your goal.
Yes, sir.
When is your interview?
12 marks.
12th March, so you still have time.
Yes, sir.
Why do you want to join the civil services? This question is asked to you. But what are the traits which you think is going to make you a good civil servant? Give me 4.
Yes, sir. So first trait I would say perseverance. I've been in this journey.
Second?
Secondly, sir, time management. Thirdly, resourcefulness. And lastly, honesty, sir.
Honesty. So, do you think civil servants are honest people?
So I would like to believe they are
No,
honest.
don't believe. I'm asking you a question. You give the answer. You are from Karnataka. Do you think civil servants are honest people?
Sir, there are some exceptions to this rule or this principle that they are supposed to follow. But all in all, majority of the civil servants are honest.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Rahul,
Yes, sir.
you are an engineer.
Yes, sir.
When is the National Engineers Day celebrated?
Yes. National Engineers Day is celebrated on September 15th. That is the birth anniversary of Sir Mokshagundam Visvesvaraya.
Okay. Are you play tennis?
I watch tennis, sir. Unfortunately, I have not had the.
You don't play.
I don't play, sir.
Okay. When and where the Wimbledon's 2024 will take place?
So Wimbledon will take place in UK, London, and it will take place around July and August.
Around July, there are fixed dates.
I'm not aware of the fixed dates. Sorry.
1st July to 14th July this year.
Yes.
Okay? Now, what is the second law of thermodynamics?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to.
What are the use of steam tables?
Sorry, sir.
Steam tables.
Steam tables. I think, sir, in refineries, steam tables are used, wherein different melting points.
Not in college,
Uh,
solving problems.
yes, sir. We also use the tables
Why?
because different elements have different melting points, and
Steam table we are talking about, where different elements come. Steam is made of what?
water.
So water is is an element or a compound.
So it's a compound.
Are you under stress?
A little bit, yes, sir.
Why?
Because, sir, mechanical engineering is one of my weaknesses, and I have been trying to up that, but not
If
sufficiently.
you weakness, then how did you graduate?
Yes, sir. I graduated, and but it's been 5 years, and I haven't yet revised what is.
Okay. So let's move on then from mechanical engineering.
Yes.
IMF recently upgraded India's growth estimate to 6.7% in 2023-24.
Yes, sir.
But our government's estimate was 7.3%.
Yes.
Why do you think there is a difference? IMF says India grew by 6.7%, are going to grow by 6.37%. We in India say no, we will be growing at 7.3%. How is it different? Does the IMF have a machinery to collect the data and find out what is the growth estimate? What is their data source?
I'm not aware of the exact data sources, sir, but India's data source is based on the MCA 21 database. I'm not sure about what IMF uses as a data source.
Okay. We have a target to become a $7 trillion economy by 2030.
Yes.
Okay? That means we'll double the GDP in the next 6 years. How feasible is it as per your opinion?
Yes, sir. Being on the optimistic side, I think it is very much feasible if we grow at around 9% growth rate. For that, sir, I think there are some reforms required. And, the demographic dividend which we have has to be utilized to the fullest, and also some reforms in agriculture as well as manufacturing sector.
When and where the next ministerial conference of WTO is going to take place?
So, can I take a guess? I have read it, but I'm not able to recall.
Sure.
I think it is Dubai or Abu Dhabi. That is in the next month, if I can recall right.
Okay. India is unlikely to actively engage in the negotiation on trade and agriculture. Why?
Yes, sir. India has some issues with regard to the peace clause as well as the subsidies that WTO has mandated. India's subsidies belong to the WTO says that India's subsidies belong to the amber box, which has some restrictions on it, and India is contesting that. And also, sir, the peace clause, which was made in Bali conference, Bali meet, and India has also used that, but WTO is saying that India cannot use that as often as India has been using. So
That's
no
all
issues.
from my side.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so good afternoon, Rahul.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
First, I'll start by complimenting you. Your dress is very smart. You look very handsome.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're good. And you're a mechanical engineer. You're aspiring to be a civil servant.
Yes.
So you like watching tennis.
Yes, ma'am.
Why was Rohan Bobana in news lately?
So, ma'am, there were two reasons as why he was in this. Firstly, he became the eldest person to be the number one in doubles, and in few
What
days,
was his age?
at the age of 43, he won the number one title, and after a few days, he also won the Australian Open.
Are there other Indian, tennis players who have been Grand Slam winners?
In doubles and mixed doubles, we have a lot of players.
Like?
Leander Pace has won a lot of Grand Slams, as well as Sania Mirza. Mahesh Bhupathi has also won.
Why was Sania Mirza in news recently?
She was in news because of her personal news that she got divorced from her former husband.
Okay. Okay, so we move to the second question. You must have heard about the Citizenship Amendment Act 2020. One of the union ministers has, said that it is going to be enacted in the next 7 days. He said about 3-4 days ago. What exactly was he referring to, and what is the Citizenship Amendment Act?
Yes, ma'am. Citizenship Amendment Act 2020 aims to 2019 aims to bring 4 reforms.
2019
19.
or 2020? 2020. Let's.
Okay, sorry.
Ah.
2020. It aims to provide citizenship or eases the norms of citizenship for those who are coming from 3 regions, 3 countries, that is Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. And it provides exemption to 6 religions. And the date of entry should be before 31st December 2014. And I guess these are the 3.
So, if there is some Pakistani or Muslim, he's come from Pakistan in say 2012, he'll be granted Indian citizenship.
No, ma'am, he won't be granted. There are other ways to grant citizenship, but this through CAA norms, he wouldn't be able to get
The first point about CAA is it is for non-Muslims.
non-Muslims.
So, he cannot get from any other source also.
Ma'am, can I ponder on that aspect more? Because there are for other reasons like naturalization, those who have lived here for
Yeah, of course, if he is born in
Yeah.
this thing, of course, then
Yes.
he can get it. Okay, now I'll move towards the third question. You know, they say that there are 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu.
Yes, ma'am.
So, can you name only 5?
Okay, I can try my best.
Yes.
Matsya,
Hmm.
Narsimha,
Hmm.
Buddha,
Hmm.
and Kalki.
Hmm. You're forgetting the most important 2.
Yes, ma'am. Krishna,
Yes, and more important than him also.
Rama.
Yeah. Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Kalki, I mean, they are the most famous ones. Okay, I'll ask you one last question for Ayodhya temple.
Yes.
My question to you is, what was the approximate cost of construction of the Ayodhya temple 1? Was this temple constructed out of the central government funds or state government funds or both? 2 questions.
I'm not able to recall the exact expenditure on this.
Approximately, bata do.
1800 crores.
That is not approximate, that's the correct answer.
Sorry.
Okay, now the second part.
Okay. Secondly, sir, ma'am, I think it was based on the trust and the donations that were provided to the trust. The state did not have any expenditure on the temple building, both
Yes.
state, center, and state.
Very good. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Rahul. You on an earlier question were talking about if we grow at 9% growth rate. When you talk of 9% growth rate, are you talking of real GDP growth or nominal GDP growth?
Real GDP. Nominally, we are 10.5% already.
So, do you think the real GDP we can grow at 9% year on year? Our own estimates are lower, and World Bank, IMF estimates are lower than that.
Yes, sir. The prospects are right now we are growing at 7%, but there are prospects of growing at 9% as well in the future as the world economy is slowing and India is seen as a bright spot in the world economy.
It is the next year's projection is slightly lower than this year's growth rate.
Yes, sir. One of the reasons is because global supply chain has been on the lower side, and also there are some crises going on like Ukraine and the Gaza crisis, because of which there are some prospects which say that India might grow slower. But I believe, sir, if there are some better reforms, we can emulate what China did in 2000s, the decade of 2000, wherein
We are still very far off from there because now there is a bunch of earlier there used to be talk of globalization. Now there is a talk of deglobalization. Under these circumstances, when this deglobalization trend is catching up, how can we become a factory of the world and do all these things that export increase and all? Very difficult target for us.
Yes, sir. As you rightly mentioned, sir, I think the protectionism has been on the rise, especially after the pandemic. But I think this is in the short term there will be protectionism, but in the long term there will be more globalization because our production cycle or production life cycle of all the products is globalized, and the supply chains or the global value chains there are. It has spread to most parts of the world, and I think globalization will take place as we go above the pandemic uh, recession that we are going through in the world today.
I suppose you have to send remit money abroad. Under which scheme of RBI you will send it?
Can I take a moment, sir?
Yes. Okay, you may not know the name, no problem. How much money you can send in a year?
It's 2.5 crores and unlimited.
2.5 crores.
Uh, Around that number, sir, I'm not able to. Sorry, sir. The frequency can be unlimited, but there is a limit to how much one can remit out. That is around 2.5 crores or.
No, there's no figure of 2.5 crore anywhere. Okay, suppose you are interested in buying shares of Apple and Microsoft or Google. Can you send money abroad for buying the shares of foreign companies in dollars?
Through FIIs,
You FII is different. As an individual,
to retail investors.
I retail investor, yes.
Directly, I cannot, sir.
You cannot buy.
But in India, we can the companies listed in Indian stock exchanges we can buy, but not in New York Stock Exchange.
You can't buy.
As far as I recall, we cannot buy.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, sir.
I bought Microsoft share and Google shares. Nobody stopped me.
I will have to read about that.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, when did we reach 1 trillion economy?
Around 2000s, if I can. I'm not sure, sir, but that is my guess. Around
No.
2000s.
No. Okay. Tell me, what is the total tax base of our country?
So around 11.9% of GDP.
Tax? No. That is not the tax ratio. Tax base. People, number of people,
Okay,
percentage people paying direct taxes.
So income tax 6 crores. Around 6 crores.
6 crore. That is how much percentage of total population?
Population that should be around 4%.
No. It is nowhere near 6 crore person paying taxes. You may read about it, okay?
It might have increased.
It is not that, it is less than that. Less than that.
Okay, sir.
Get your facts right, okay? Thank you.
Mr. Rahul,
Yes, sir.
you worked as a mentor.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the difference between a mentor and a guide?
Mentor
1%,
is a
1 to
more
2%.
Professional
2.6.
aspect, and a guide is a very guide. A father can also be a guide, but a mentor is a more professional relationship.
Okay, it is mostly about formal, informal. Is that the difference? Is that all?
That's all I can think of.
Okay, fine. You graduated from RVC.
Yes.
Yes. What is RVC?
So Rashtriya Vidyalaya College of Engineering.
Under which university is it?
It's an autonomous university.
Okay, it mentions VTU, Vishweshwaraya Technology.
Affiliation to VTU. but-
Affiliation to VTU. Okay. So, can you spell out Vishweshwaraya?
Spell out in the sense like brief
Spelling.
spelling. Okay.
Give me the spelling.
VIS VERIAH.
Okay. Some of the letters were missing. Okay. Where was this person Vishweshwaraya was from? Where was he from?
So his origins are from Andhra, but he was from Mysore state.
Mysore state. He was born in Mysore state.
I'm not sure of his birthplace, sir.
His birthplace is Mudenahalli, Chikballapur district.
Okay, so I will read about that.
Okay. Was he awarded Bharat Ratna or not?
Yes, sir, he was a
When?
In 1954, if I can.
1955.
Okay.
Do you know we have the 5-year plans? We had the 5-year plans. Is there a contribution made by Vishweshwaraya to the planning in India?
Yes, sir. Vishweshwara had contributed towards the Bombay plan, which was in fact.
Was it the Bombay plan or was it the Vishweshwaraya plan?
I'm not aware of the Vishweshwaraya plan, but as far as I remember, GD Birla and Tata's and also Vishweshwaraya had contributed towards the Bombay plan, which was a 10-year cycle. But government followed the 5-year cycle when India got independence. The plan was proposed in 1944. And,
So you may have to look back because there was a plan in 1934 given by Vishweshwaraya. He was the first person to give a plan, right, for India.
I will read about this.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that we will be able to achieve that $7 trillion economy. And you also mentioned that it would be possible provided we take some reforms.
Yes.
What kind of reforms are you referring to?
So I was referring to agricultural and manufacturing sector reforms.
Mhm.
In agriculture, despite 50% population indulgent and only 17%.
Can you give me the examples of the kind of reforms that you are talking about? Past examples.
Sorry, sir.
Past examples, past reforms, which you are referring to, which can be like this. You are basically talking about structural reforms.
Structural.
What structural reforms are we talking about?
So one of the structural reforms is that government intended to bring was linking all the APMCs to one market, which was one of the laws of which was withdrawn recently. And secondly, the private sector has a big role to play in agriculture. And if there are agreements between farmers and private sector, I think farmers tend to grow as well as the economy of India. So in that sense, structural reforms are needed in agriculture.
Okay.
Also, on similar lines, I would say a rainbow revolution, the lines of green revolution is required, where all the crops, including millets and pulses, are grown.
Anything in industry?
In the manufacturing industry, I would say the skill development and formalization of economy is required. Currently, India's skill development is around 10%, which needs to grow higher, and also increase in female labor force participation is required.
Okay, my last question. You have MRP on all products. Why not agriculture products?
Agricultural products.
Do they come with a MRP? The farmers sell the produce. Do they have a MRP?
While selling, they sell it based on the MSP.
They sell on the basis of MSP. All the products.
Not all the products.
Fruits and vegetables, which a farmer grows,
Yes.
they don't have a MRP. Why can't we have a MRP? The question is, why can't we have a MRP?
I will have to think about that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Rahul, our interview is over.